All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great session with the presidential candidate of the fictional Common Sense People's Party. Now, after the fraudulent judgment delivered by the fraudulent tribunal judges, it seemed like the race for the presidential seat was over.
Hello my wonderful people, I greet you all according to una tell my people, not be small matter o. Make una watch this video, make una see wetin dey go on for inside Naija right now. No be small thing o my people. Before I leave una beg, if una know say una never follow this my page, na the first time wey you dey come across this page, make you try make you subscribe for us. Click on the notification bell so that anytime I post a new video, you will be the first to be notified. Thank you.
Over. But recent happenings are suggesting something different. And yes, we all know that the Nigerian judiciary is corrupt, but in the course of litigation, it can come to a point where even the most corrupt judge in the world will be helpless. And it looks like that is where we are headed with this TINUBU situation. Now, the Nigerian Court of Appeal may have freed TINUBU, but the US court has not. And as I speak to you, TINUBU is actually begging the US judges as regards releasing the entire Bola Ahmed Tinubu records at the Chicago State University to Atiku. As a matter of fact, the desperation that he and his lawyers showed in their statements proves that this fight is still very much alive. But before I show you their statements, let me quickly share this very important information. Please, let's listen carefully. The FBI announces plan to start releasing 2,500 documents on Bola Tinubu from October. The United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, will start turning over approximately 2,500 documents relating to Bola Tinubu in its database. The frontline American law enforcement institution said it will start releasing the documents effective October, ending at 500 pages per month. The unexpected move followed the FBI's initial reluctance to turn over the documents in line with a Freedom of Information request first filed in 2022. Aaron Greenspan, who runs PlainSight, a website that pushes anti-corruption and transparency in public service, filed the request in collaboration with journalist David Hundein. The disclosure is expected to clarify outstanding questions about when Mr. Tinubu entered the US, under which name he entered, and all activities he has been involved in ever since Mr. Tinubu spent decades in the United States. Appearing to have first moved there in 1970s, more details about his forfeiture of $460,000 over drug dealing in Chicago in the 90s are also expected to be among the records to be released. The Nigerian president's background has remained a mystery for most citizens, as questions about his real parents and childhood education have not been answered. Alongside the FBI, the US State Department, Internal Revenue Service, and Drug Enforcement Administration have all indicated readiness to turn over thousands of pages of Bola Tinubu related records. The Central Intelligence Agency also said it was collating records of Mr. Tinubu for release in compliance with the law. Effective October, the State Department said it will start turning over 450 pages every 6 weeks from its archives on Tinubu. Chai! 2,500 documents on one man. Haba Tinubu. Are you the first and only Nigerian to have ever lived in the abroad? Did His Excellency Peter Obi not live in the UK for over a decade? Now, there have been a lot of mixed reactions to these updates. Some are saying they don't trust the FBI, that by the time they will release those records, that they may have washed Tinubu clean of all these allegations, while others are saying they cannot wait for them to release those documents, that they trust the FBI to do a clean job, and by the time those documents are released, that Tinubu is going to be disqualified. My verdict is simple. Time will tell. Now, let us see how Tinubu's lawyers are begging the US courts not to release the full records of Bola Tinubu from Chicago State University. Look at how the papers reported it. Article trying to sandbag me. Chicago State University document showing I was female, not my fault. Tinubu begs US judge. President Bola Tinubu on Monday begged a federal judge in the United States to ignore records that suggested the person who was admitted into Chicago State University in the 1970s was a female, saying his Nigerian political rival Atiku Abubakar was trying to sandbag him in the ongoing case over academic documents. It is established beyond peradventure that it is improper to sandbag one's opponent by raising new matters. In reply, Mr. Tinubu said in a September 11 filing before Judge Jeffrey Gilbert of the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois. One of Mr. Tinubu's lawyers in the case, Christopher Carmichael, entered today's argument on the Nigerian president's behalf. Now, this Tinubu's response seemed a last-minute push to downplay tomorrow's hearing by Mr. Gilbert, who had recommended that all parties appear before the court on Tuesday afternoon amid strong indications that a ruling was imminent in the matter. Mr. Abubakar was asking the court to grant enough subpoenas to compel records and depositions from the Chicago State University amid controversy of Mr. Tinubu's admission and graduation. The school has continued to present contradictory documents that often throw up more questions than previously conceived. For instance, at least 2 different certificates issued by the school in Mr. Tinubu's name are in the public domain. One was issued directly to Mr. Tinubu, while the other was issued to a Nigerian lawyer who obtained a subpoena for the records last year. The one given to Mr. Tinubu said he graduated on June 22, 1979, having been admitted in 1977, while the one issued to the Nigerian lawyer Mike Enahoro carried June 27, 1979. Still, additional records of admission submitted by Chicago State University under the 2022 subpoena showed that a certain Bola Tinubu, who was admitted to Chicago State University also in the same 1977, presented a Southwest College result belonging to a female. Furthermore, Elnora Daniel, the Chicago State University president, who purportedly signed the 2022 certificate for Mr. Tinubu, only joined the school in 1998, or 19 years after Mr. Tinubu was said to have graduated. She left in 2008 following a financial mismanagement scandal, or 14 years before she purportedly signed the certificate as the current president of the school. These, among other jarring anomalies in the Chicago State University records, have rendered Mr. Abubakar no choice but to seek full disclosure under subpoena from the school, his lawyer said. The Nigerian politician intends to use the records in his ongoing judicial challenge to Mr. Tinubu's election earlier this year, arguing that the president's several instances of falsified records should be enough to nullify his eligibility to continue in office. Wow, what a shame. And by the special grace of God, this US court judgment is going to favor us, and this man is going to be exposed before the whole world for the evil that he is. And talking about exposing Tinubu, there is one name that I can never forget. One name that I will continue to highlight. The Ogbonge investigative journalist, David Hundeyin. Please listen to how David Hundeyin broke down the Court of Appeal judgment on the MOATSUK show in the United Kingdom. Listen to him.
Where the judiciary, as it's generously referred to, signaled to the world and to Nigeria specifically that even the letter of the law, the Nigerian Constitution itself, is essentially a series of suggestions that basically, in the interest of protecting the status quo, the judiciary will essentially make up rules that don't exist on the fly. They will nitpick technicalities which make very little sense to anyone both within and outside the system, and they will basically work their way back from a predetermined answer to basically to arrive at a series of contrived questions, and the only purpose of doing all of this is to subvert justice. So what is abundantly clear now is that even going forward, even after this inevitably goes to the Supreme Court, the outcome isn't going to be any different, because the Nigerian judiciary has made a mockery of itself. Just to give you an idea of just how much of a mockery that we're talking about now. Some of the judgments, the rulings that were pronounced on the day were that, for example, on the issue of the supposed president's drug dealing forfeiture in the United States, where, as you mentioned earlier, he forfeited the sum of $460,000 to the U.S. government.